Welcome into Deep Dive Secrets! Today, I want to unravel a story that starts like so many ordinary lives, but twists into a revelation that shakes the very foundation of trust and marriage.
It begins on a rainy Thursday evening in suburban Charlotte, North Carolina.
The soft glow of the street lamps reflected off the wet pavement, painting the world in shades of muted gold and shadow.
Emma Kajunga, a 36-year-old graphic designer with a penchant for realism in both her art and her life, was sitting on the edge of her beige sectional sofa, laptop open, but her mind elsewhere.
She had just returned from a late meeting at the design firm, and for some reason, her instincts were buzzing. A feeling she couldn't quite shake. Her husband, Michael Callahan.
A 40-year-old marketing executive known among his peers for strategic brilliance and subtle charm had been unusually distant for the past few weeks. It wasn't the occasional distraction of work. This felt different.
Emma's thoughts spiraled as she remembered the minor oddities, the late-night texts.
The sudden business trips to cities she had never heard him mention.
And the way he seemed to have perfected that casual tone when she asked, "How was your day?" It was precise, measured, almost rehearsed. Yet, Emma's gut didn't whisper cheating. It whispered something bigger, something planned. And she couldn't let go. Their marriage had always been a partnership of transparency. They shared bills, schedules, secrets, and even grocery lists.
And now, a fissure had appeared, almost invisible, yet undeniably present.
The night stretched, and as the rain turned into a light drizzle,
Emma sifted through her memory like a detective, piecing together fragments of evidence.
she thought about the vacation Michael had taken a month ago.
Just a business retreat,
He had said, but he had returned with a new energy, a subtle air of satisfaction that didn't quite match the story he told.
and then there were the receipts she found tucked inside the drawer of his desk. Expensive dinners, hotel stay, flights booked to cities across the Midwest, but always under corporate labels, always justified.
Emma didn't confront him immediately.
She wasn't ready, and in her heart, she knew there was more to the story.
Michael had a way of orchestrating his life like a chess game.
He was precise, deliberate, and patient.
That night, Emma recalled a phrase he often used. Good planning avoids crises. She couldn't shake it from her mind.
The more she replayed their interactions over the last few months,
The more she realized that what seemed like neglect or secrecy might have been part of a meticulously planned move.
the idea made her stomach twist, part fear, part awe.
Michael wasn't just acting distant.
He was preparing. Preparing for what?
That question burned hotter than any suspicion she had ever known. The next morning, Emma decided to start small, to observe rather than accuse. She watched Michael from the doorway as he poured coffee, noticing the careful way he measured each scoop, the silent rituals he performed without thinking. She remembered their first date at a small cafe in uptown Charlotte, how he had noticed a subtle flaw in the latte art she had drawn.
And how he had smiled knowingly, predicting she would become a successful designer one day.
That memory brought a bittersweet warmth.
She realized she knew him well, but did she know everything?
The idea that he had orchestrated something behind the veil of normalcy made her feel both excited and wary. By the end of the week, Emma's curiosity had morphed into action.
She started tracing his steps, subtly checking schedules, noting odd patterns. Observing who he communicated with and what seemed innocuous but felt off. She wasn't snooping for infidelity.
She was piecing together a puzzle she sensed was bigger than a simple betrayal. Her friends noticed her distracted demeanor.
Emma, are you okay?
Ask her best friend, Lauren Mitchell, during lunch at their favorite deli. Emma forced a smile and nodded, careful not to reveal the storm brewing inside her.
The truth was, she didn't yet know what she would find, but instinct told her she was on the cusp of uncovering something extraordinary.
Late one evening, as thunder rolled over the city and lightning sketched fleeting shadows across the walls,
Emma stumbled upon an encrypted folder on Michael's work laptop, hidden under layers of business reports.
Her pulse raced as she opened it, revealing documents, plans, and emails that detailed a personal project Michael had been working on secretly, meticulously, and with laser-focused intent. Each file hinted at a grand strategy, a plan that involved more than just career ambition or weekend getaways.
She found spreadsheets predicting timelines, maps, contact lists,
And even psychological profiles, strangely intimate observations of her friends, family, and herself.
It was at that moment she realized the shocking truth. Michael hadn't been cheating. He had been planning something that required patience, secrecy, and the perfect orchestration of events.
Emma's mind raced with possibilities. Was it a surprise? A life-changing gift? A business venture? Or something else entirely? The mixture of fear and anticipation grew heavier with each revelation.
She felt as if she were reading the journal of a man she had loved for years, yet barely knew completely. The intensity of the discovery consumed her thoughts, shaping every conversation, every glance, every heartbeat.
Michael's planning was not malicious, it was intentional, calculated, and rooted in a purpose she had yet to comprehend.
That night, as Emma lay awake, she realized she had entered a game with rules she didn't yet understand.
The stakes felt enormous, not just for her marriage, but for her sense of reality.
The story of ordinary life she had known was fracturing, revealing hidden layers of strategy, foresight, and a devotion so intricate it bordered on obsession.
She wasn't sure whether to feel betrayed, amazed, or both.
But one thing was certain. She had to follow the trail, uncover the truth.
And understand the plan her husband had so carefully concealed. And so, Emma's journey began a journey that would test the limits of trust, love, patience, and perception.
She didn't know what she would find at the end.
But she knew one thing. Her life was about to change in ways she could never have anticipated. From hidden emails to secret meetings, from cryptic phone calls to unexpected revelations. Every moment was a piece of the puzzle, every interaction a clue.
And as the rain subsided and the first rays of morning pierced the living room blinds,
Emma braced herself for the unraveling of a secret that had been years in the making.
a secret that would reveal not a betrayal, but the extraordinary plan of the man she thought she knew.
Emma's investigation into Michael's secretive project intensified over the following weeks.
She began piecing together the information she had found in the encrypted folder, treating it like a cryptic treasure map.
The documents revealed a timeline, meticulously plotted months in advance, detailing meetings, purchases.
And even moments of personal reflection Michael had recorded for himself.
At first glance, it looked almost obsessive.
But as Emma delved deeper, she realized it wasn't about control, it was about creating a life-altering experience for their family.
The next phase of her discovery began with the unusual patterns in Michael's recent business trips.
He had been traveling frequently, but each trip had a hidden purpose beyond his corporate duties.
Emma cross-referenced the flight logs and hotel bookings with the documents on his laptop, and a pattern emerged.
Each location corresponded with a personal project carefully designed to culminate in a surprise for her and their daughter,
Sophie, a spirited 10-year-old with an adventurous streak.
Michael had been planting seeds for something remarkable, all while maintaining the illusion of normalcy.
Emma enlisted subtle
Allies in her quest to understand Michael's plan.
She confided in Lauren Mitchell, her best friend, without revealing too much.
I can't explain it yet,
She said, showing only fragments of the documents. It's like he's building something.
something huge. And I don't think it's about cheating. Lauren, always analytical, helped Emma organize the clues, locations, and contacts.
Together, they created a visual map on a corkboard, string connecting dots like detectives in a crime drama, though this case was about love and intention rather than crime.
As Emma followed the trail, she discovered the personal touches Michael had woven into his plan. He had coordinated with Sophie's school to arrange secret field trips,
Ensuring she would experience small moments of joy that hinted at a larger adventure.
There were gifts left strategically for Emma handwritten notes, tucked in books.
subtle reminders of shared memories, and even a custom piece of jewelry designed to symbolize a promise he had never fully disclosed.
Michael's foresight was staggering, and Emma's admiration grew alongside her astonishment.
The pivotal breakthrough came when Emma uncovered a series of encrypted video diaries
Michael had recorded over the past 6 months.
Each diary chronicled his thoughts, feelings, and the meticulous planning behind what he called Project Luminary in Tebidos.
Michael explained the reasoning behind every choice, the locations of trips,
The timing of surprises, even the psychological research he had conducted to make each experience impactful. He spoke directly to Emma, acknowledging her resilience, her creativity, and her role in inspiring the project. "I want this to be a gift that reshapes our lives," he said in one clip, eyes glistening with emotion.
Emma was overwhelmed.
The depth of Michael's commitment was both humbling and disorienting.
She had suspected a betrayal, yet the reality was infinitely more complex. He had been orchestrating an elaborate plan to enrich their family's life.
To create experiences that would last a lifetime.
The mix of relief and amazement made her realize how little she truly understood about the man she had married.
Every late night, every cryptic meet, every whispered phone call now had a purpose, and the purpose was love expressed through meticulous planning. In the following days, Emma observed Michael more closely, noting the subtleties she had previously missed. The way he glanced at her when he thought she wasn't looking, the quiet satisfaction in his eyes when Sophie laughed at one of the staged surprises, and the careful way he recorded notes in his journal all indicated that his love was intertwined with strategy and foresight. Emma felt like a detective uncovering the blueprint of a masterful architect, realizing that she had been living inside a carefully constructed masterpiece of intention and devotion.
Emma's journey led her to a local artisan, Jason Whitaker.
A craftsman who had unknowingly contributed to Michael's plan. Jason had been commissioned for custom pieces, handcrafted furniture,
Personalized toys for Sophie, and intricate items meant to guide the family toward a final reveal.
Emma pieced together the connections, understanding that Michael had built a network of collaborators.
Each unaware of the larger project, contributing in ways that were both practical and sentimental. The scale of the plan was staggering. Michael had not just been planning.
He had been orchestrating a symphony.
Amidst the unraveling mystery, Emma also discovered an unexpected psychological layer. Michael had created contingency plans for emotional response. CC anticipated potential disappointments, stressors, and misunderstandings, and had written letters and notes to guide Emma and Sophie through them.
It was as though he had not only planned the experiences but also planned the emotional navigation, ensuring that each moment, no matter how challenging,
Would contribute to growth and connection rather than tension. Emma felt simultaneously astonished and comforted. This was no ordinary husbandly gesture. The narrative of ordinary life Emma had known was dissolving.
She realized she had been living alongside a man whose devotion manifested as both love and intricate planning.
The emotional intensity of discovering the full extent of Project Luminary began to change her perception of their marriage. Every argument, every misunderstanding now seemed like a prelude to deeper understanding, a test of patience that Michael had anticipated.
Emma understood that she was witnessing a rare phenomenon. A marriage built not just on trust,
But on foresight, strategy, and an unwavering commitment to shared joy. Emma's internal conflict grew as she approached the next layer of the project.
she realized that Michael's ultimate reveal was imminent, and she had to decide how much to let herself be surprised versus how much to uncover.
The thrill of discovery battled with the desire for revelation.
The curiosity that had driven her investigation now teetered on the edge of suspense and impatience.
She carefully continued her detective work, knowing that each uncovered clue was part of a greater mosaic that would culminate in an experience neither she nor Sophie could forget.
As weeks turned into months, Emma documented her own observations.
Creating her own secret diary alongside Michael's encrypted files. She noted not just his planning but her own emotional journey, From suspicion to confusion to admiration, and finally to an eager anticipation of what was to come. Emma began to understand that this story was indeed just about uncovering Michael S. plan. It was about recognizing the layers of intention, love, and foresight that had shaped their shared life, often beneath the surface of ordinary routines. The climax of this phase arrived when Emma discovered a set of coded maps indicating a major event planned for their family's anniversary. Every detail from the location to the sequence of surprises was painstakingly documented.
Michael's plan wasn't just a series of gestures.
It was a carefully choreographed experience designed to create unforgettable memories and strengthen the bonds of family, trust, and love.
Emma felt a mixture of awe and disbelief. Her husband had not cheated.
He had strategized a multi-layered, life-changing experience, and she was about to witness the final act.
The days leading up to the final reveal of Michael S.'s master plan were a whirlwind of anticipation.
Anxieties and subtle observation for Emma. Every morning she awoke with a heightened awareness, reading the small cues in Michael's behavior. The way he checked his watch slightly more often. The faint smile when
Sophie giggled at a minor surprise, and the hurried, almost imperceptible notes he scribbled in his journal during breakfast.
each action felt layered with meaning, a breadcrumb on the trail leading toward an event she could not yet fully imagine. Emma decided to test her theories without revealing her suspicions.
She followed Michael on one of his business errands to a quaint craft shop in South Charlotte, where he interacted with the owner, Grace Holloway,
who seemed puzzled yet cooperative.
Observing them, Emma noticed the careful, almost ceremonial way Michael reviewed orders, gestures, and confirmations.
It became clear that every small detail from paint colors to engraved initials was being curated to perfection.
Michael's meticulousness was no longer a source of mild suspicion.
It was the heartbeat of a meticulously orchestrated family adventure. As the week progressed, tension escalated at home.
Sophie, blissfully unaware of the intricate plans surrounding her,
bounced around with innocent enthusiasm, her laughter punctuating the growing suspense. Emma, on the other hand, navigated a complex mixture of impatience and admiration.
Michael's planning was like a grand puzzle, with her as both observer and participant.
The discovery of a series of locked boxers in the attic provided a tantalizing hint of what was to come.
Each box contained artifacts, letters, keepsakes, and tools that would guide them through the final stages of his project.
Emma's heart raced with a combination of awe and the profound realization that her husband had orchestrated every element.
with care and foresight. The escalation continued as Michael announced a family weekend retreat
To a lakeside cabin in the Blue Ridge Mountains, a retreat that at first seemed ordinary but was, in reality, the culmination of months of planning.
The trip itself was a puzzle.
Emma observed how Michael had booked the cabin under an alias to preserve the surprise.
Coordinated meal plans with local chefs and even arranged for scenic guides
to facilitate a series of personalized experiences designed specifically for Sophie and
Emma. Every conversation he had during the preparations was precise, intentional, and layered with subtle hints. Emma's suspicions that this was more than a mere getaway grew exponentially.
Upon arrival, the true scope of Michael's orchestration began to unfold.
Each morning, the family discovered a new element of the retreat. Hand-drawn maps leading to hidden paths.
Personalized activity kits and letters written in advance that revealed shared memories and personal reflections.
Emma's emotional response alternated between tears of gratitude and astonishment at the level of commitment Michael had invested. The meticulous attention to detail was staggering. Even the weather seemed coordinated.
With crisp, clear mornings for hikes and a gentle drizzle during reflective moments near the lake. Midway through the retreat, Emma confronted Michael not with anger, but with the urgency of wanting to understand the enormity of what she was witnessing.
Michael, I have to ask.
All of this! It's incredible! But why? Why go to such lengths?
She asked, her voice trembling with emotion.
Michael's response was calm, steady, and revealing. I wanted to create something that goes beyond ordinary gifts.
I wanted to design experiences that shape our lives, moments that Sophie and you will remember not just for a day, but for a lifetime.
It's love expressed through intention, not impulse.
Emma realized then that the months of planning, the subtle secrecy, and the intricate orchestration had been an extraordinary act of devotion.
A love letter written in actions and experiences rather than words alone.
The tension peaked as Emma and Sophie embarked on the final sequence of Michael's plan. A scavenger hunt spanning the property.
Each step revealing a piece of a larger story. Clues were embedded in natural features, artfully crafted props, and carefully timed events.
Emma was struck by the layers of foresight. Michael had anticipated possible frustrations, moments of confusion,
And emotional reactions, providing guidance that was both gentle and profound. With each discovery, the scale of his planning became increasingly evident. The meticulous nature of his strategy was not about control, but about creating an immersive, meaningful, and unforgettable experience. The climax of the retreat arrived at sunset on a secluded bluff overlooking the lake.
Michael had arranged a tableau of symbols representing key milestones in their lives. The night they first met.
Sophie's birth, shared vacations, and moments of triumph and challenge,
Emma's eyes welled as Michael explained the significance of each element.
revealing the thought and effort behind every detail.
The final surprise was a handcrafted journal, each page documenting memories, reflections,
And visions for the future, a tangible manifestation of Michael's love and planning.
Emma recognized that what she had once suspected to be secrecy or betrayal was, in truth, a profound exercise in devotion, patience, and foresight.
Even after the reveal, subtle confrontations arose.
Emma wrestled with her previous assumptions.
Understanding that her doubt had been natural but also limited her appreciation of the depth of Michael's intentions. Conversations with Michael became reflective and tender, exploring the interplay between secrecy, planning, and emotional impact.
Emma realized that the true power of his plan lay not just in the experiences themselves,
But in the anticipation, the discovery,
And the realization that she had been part of a masterfully orchestrated narrative of love. The retreat concluded with a quiet evening by the lake, where Emma, Sophie, and Michael sat together, reflecting on the journey. The experience had transformed their family dynamic, fostering deeper trust, understanding, and connection.
Emma's initial suspicions of infidelity had been replaced by awe at the extraordinary level of commitment and love Michael had demonstrated.
It became clear that sometimes the most profound acts of devotion are those hidden in plain sight.
waiting for the right moment to reveal themselves.
The confrontation with the truth, both the tension of uncertainty and the revelation of Michael's
Plan marked a turning point in Emma's perception of marriage, trust, and the capacity for intentional love.
She understood that extraordinary relationships often require patience, observation, and an appreciation for the unseen efforts of a devoted partner.
As the retreat ended, Emma felt a renewed sense of partnership and wonder.
Ready to embrace the life her husband had carefully, lovingly, and strategically designed. As the retreat drew to a close, Emma reflected on the incredible journey she had just experienced. The weeks of subtle observation, discovery, and suspense had culminated in a revelation that redefined her understanding of love, marriage, and trust. Sitting by the lake, with Sophie splashing her feet in the water and Michael sketching the sunset in his notebook, Emma felt a profound sense of clarity.
Michael's meticulous planning was not an intrusion into her life.
It was a deeply considered expression of devotion, a demonstration that love could be strategic, patient, and transformative. In the quiet moments that followed,
Emma and Michael shared long conversations about the intricate layers of Project Luminary. They revisited the clues,
the hidden notes, and the personalized experiences.
Laughing at the clever ways he had orchestrated surprises while acknowledging the emotional weight they carried.
Michael explained the reasoning behind each choice, revealing not only his foresight but also his deep understanding of Emma's personality, desires, and values.
Emma realized that every aspect of the project had been a manifestation of intimacy, observation,
And care.
and that the apparent secrecy had been necessary to preserve the impact of the experience. Sophie, in her innocent exuberance, unknowingly highlighted the success of Michael's plan.
She recounted her favorite moments with animated joy.
Piecing together the adventure with childlike logic that often revealed more than adults could perceive.
Emma noticed how Michael's careful attention to detail had created an environment where Sophie could explore, learn, and enjoy without stress or confusion.
It was an intricate balance between structure and spontaneity.
A testament to Michael's understanding of human psychology and the dynamics of family life.
Emma felt admiration and gratitude swell within her, realizing that what had once felt like secrecy was, in truth, an extraordinary act of love.
Returning home from the retreat, Emma reflected on the profound impact of the experience.
The house, once familiar, now seemed to contain new layers of meaning. She noticed the subtle preparations Michael had made in everyday life. Letters hidden in drawers. Small tokens of appreciation and carefully planned routines that cultivated moments of joy and connection. Emma began to appreciate the complexity of marital devotion. Understanding that love could be expressed not only through words and immediate gestures, but through foresight, strategy, and intent. Emma's perspective on marriage shifted fundamentally.
She recognized that true partnership requires trust, not just in the seen actions of a spouse,
but in the unseen planning, sacrifices, and forethought that support the family's growth.
Michael had demonstrated a level of commitment that transcended ordinary gestures.
His planning was a manifestation of his love, an intricate tapestry of experiences designed to reinforce the bonds between them.
Emma understood that marriage, like life, contains hidden layers that, when revealed, deepen understanding and connection. The weeks following the retreat were filled with reflection and conversation.
Emma and Michael revisited their journey together, discussing the emotional nuances, unexpected discoveries, and moments of tension that had arisen during the process. They acknowledged that the meticulous planning had required both patience and trust, and that the payoff was not just the experiences themselves, but the growth in intimacy, empathy, and appreciation for one another.
Emma felt a renewed sense of partnership, inspired by the depth of Michael's devotion and the intentionality behind his actions.
Emma also reflected on her own personal growth throughout the process.
She recognized how her initial doubts and suspicions had been natural responses to uncertainty.
But how the journey had taught her the value of patience, observation, and empathy.
She realized that part of the richness of life lies in
Understanding that people can act with profound care
In ways that are not immediately
visible, and that love often operates through subtle, deliberate acts that shape the emotional landscape of relationships.
The experience also strengthened the bond between Emma and Sophie. Witnessing her father's careful planning and experiencing the surprises firsthand allowed Sophie to appreciate intention and effort in relationships.
Emma observed how Sophie's confidence and joy flourished under the guidance of her parents' thoughtful orchestration.
The retreat had become more than a series of adventures. It was a living lesson in love, trust, and the meaningful interplay between planning and spontaneity.
Emma and Michael began to incorporate the principles of Project Luminary into daily life.
Fostering a culture of surprise, reflection, and intentional experiences within the household. Family dinners became moments of shared stories and subtle gestures of appreciation. Weekends were planned with small but meaningful surprises, and communication deepened through intentional reflection and observation.
Emma realized that the essence of Michael's plan was not the culmination alone, but the ongoing commitment to create a life imbued with intention, love, and connection.
As Emma prepared to share parts of her journey with close friends, she reflected on the emotional arc of the experience.
The suspense, anticipation, and discovery had transformed her understanding of human relationships.
She had learned that true devotion can be expressed through meticulous planning.
That love is strengthened by thoughtful actions, and that marriage is an evolving tapestry of intentionality and shared experience.
Emma felt a profound sense of gratitude for Michael's vision, his patience, and his unwavering commitment to their family. In the final days following the retreat, Emma found herself savoring ordinary moments with extraordinary awareness.
Watching Sophie play in the yard, observing Michael at work, and experiencing the subtle layers of care embedded in their daily life, Emma felt a renewed sense of wonder and appreciation.
She recognized that the ordinary can be extraordinary when viewed through the lens of intention.
And that wow, when combined with foresight and thoughtful planning, creates a foundation that is both resilient and deeply meaningful. As we reach the final chapter of Emma and Michael's journey, it's important to pause and reflect on the power of intentionality in relationships.
A story brought to you by Deep Dive Secrets.
After weeks of suspense, discovery, and revelation,
The family had returned to their home with a renewed understanding of love, trust, and connection.
Emma had witnessed firsthand how Michael's meticulous planning a strategy she initially feared was deceit was actually an extraordinary expression of devotion.
The experience had transformed their ordinary routines into a tapestry of meaning, surprises, and shared joy.
Emma and Michael now approached daily life with a heightened awareness of each other's needs and emotions.
Their marriage had evolved into something that combined spontaneity with foresight, creating a rhythm where each member of the family felt deeply understood and valued.
Even simple routines, like Sunday breakfast or evening walks with Sophie, were imbued with subtle reminders of care and shared experience.
The lessons learned from Michael's intricate project extended beyond the retreat.
They became guiding principles for nurturing intimacy, trust, and connection over the long term. This story also serves as a reminder to anyone watching that appearances can be deceiving. What may seem like secrecy or distance in a relationship might sometimes conceal deep, intentional planning for the benefit of loved ones. Michael's strategy carefully orchestrated events, hidden messages, and thoughtful surprises demonstrates that love can be expressed in layered, complex ways that are not always immediately visible. Emma's journey from suspicion to admiration underscores the importance of patience, observation, and empathy in understanding a partner's intentions. As we close this chapter, imagine the quiet moments that often go unnoticed in our own. There's the gestures, plans, and thoughtful actions that may seem ordinary but are actually filled with profound significance.
Emma and Michael's story exemplifies how a marriage can be strengthened when both partners value trust,
Foresight and intentionality. Each carefully placed note, each meticulously planned surprise, and each act of thoughtful reflection contributes to a richer, deeper connection that transforms daily life into an extraordinary shared experience. For those of you seeking to cultivate similar depth in your own relationships, consider the role of planning, intentionality, and perspective.
Like Michael, small, deliberate actions can build toward profound emotional impact.
While, like Emma, observing and appreciating these gestures can deepen trust and intimacy.
This story reminds us that love is not only an emotion, but also a carefully crafted, experienced one that requires attention,
Patience, and thoughtfulness.
Before we conclude, remember that Deep Dive Secrets is dedicated to uncovering stories that illuminate hidden truths, subtle dynamics, and the extraordinary aspects of ordinary lives.
Emma and Michael's journey is just one example of how the secrets behind relationships can reveal astonishing layers of devotion, foresight, and care. Whether you are navigating your own relationships or simply seeking inspiration, stories like this offer both insight and reflection, encouraging us to look beyond the surface and recognize the intentional efforts that make love enduring and meaningful.
So, as you reflect on this story, take a moment to think about the quiet, deliberate gestures in your life, those small, thoughtful actions that create lasting memories and deep connections.
Whether you are the planner or the observer,
The experience of intentional love is transformative, and understanding its layers can reshape your perception of relationships forever.
If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Deep Dive Secrets for more stories that reveal the hidden dynamics of family, relationships, and human connection. And don't forget to check out our other episodes. One brings you closer to understanding the extraordinary secrets that shape ordinary lives.